How many shares of these stocks would you need to make $1,000 a month income? How do you create that cash flow from your investments that you can live off each month? In this video, I'm digging into the numbers to reveal how much you need to invest. We're going to look at this from different ways, and then I'm going to reveal a secret to stock investing that most investors just don't think of. We're talking stock market investing today on Let's Talk Money. Beat debt, make money, make your money work for you, creating the financial future you deserve. Let's Talk Money. Joseph Hogue with the Let's Talk Money channel here on YouTube. I want to send a special shout out to everyone in the community. Thank you for taking a part of your day to be here. If you're not part of that community yet, just click that little red subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. Now, those of you in the community know we're all about dividend investing here on Let's Talk Money. I love talking about those other types of investing and making money, but there's just something about that passive income cash flow that you get from those dividends that's tough to beat. In nearly a decade as an equity analyst, I've learned that there are few things better than a reliable stream of dividends. But how do you turn a handful of dividend stocks into that cash flow, that consistent cash flow? How do you get to the point where you can live off those dividends, and how many shares of some of the most popular dividend stocks do you really need to make that dream a reality? Now that question is straight from the comments to one of our videos here on the channel. So in this video, we're going to answer that for 7 of the most popular stocks out there. We'll first look at how many shares and then how much you need to invest in each of these to reach that $1,000 monthly payday. Finally, I'm going to reveal a truth about dividend investing that frankly most people just don't think about when they're going after these stocks. I'll show you exactly how to plan for that payday and how to get there. Now for this video, I picked 6 of the most widely held dividend stocks and one fund with the highest yields you'll find. We'll look at the dividend yield on each of these, and then I'll show you how many shares of each stock you need to buy and the dollar amount to secure that $1,000 monthly income. We just posted an analysis of Apple shares on the channel last month with a $220 price target on top of that 1.5% dividend yield. Apple has a new lineup of iPhones coming out this year and is really building on that base for services. Ford is another stock that we recently analyzed and added to our 7-stock passive income portfolio. The shares dropped hard on last quarter's earnings, but that 6.25% dividend is secure and that long-term upside is positive. I'll link to that passive income dividend portfolio in the video description, so make sure you check that out. Now, of all the dividend names, I think AT&T is the one I hear most from you in the community. The company's made some major acquisitions over the past year, so it's in that growth stage, and that 6% dividend is hard to beat. Realty Income is a solid player in the real estate space and pays a 3.9% dividend yield. Now this one actually pays monthly rather than every 3 months like the rest of the stocks on our list. That means you don't have to time your dividends or save some of that quarterly check. You can just collect it every single month. Now I just did an analysis of Netflix, so I looked into Disney as a competitor, and I gotta tell you, I really like the growth potential on this one. It's not a strong dividend name with just 1.2% yield, but we're going to see in a little bit that total return has been one of the strongest on this list. 3M is another popular dividend stock I get a lot of requests for, and a solid 3.3% yield. Now 3M is diversified across almost every part of the industrial process, so it's a stable stock that really follows the economy. This company, though, has one of the best research and development departments I've ever seen, and it allows it to get a little extra return on what you'd expect above that baseline economic growth. Our 7th stock here isn't even a stock at all, but a fund, the Alerian MLP Fund, ticker AMLP, and those of you in the community are going to recognize it from our 2019 dividend stock portfolio. The fund is an excellent group of pipeline companies in the U.S. energy space, so really primed for that energy independence and pays an 8% dividend yield. Now let's look at how many shares of each of these stocks you'd need to generate that monthly cash goal. But first, I want to send this out for a feedback question. Which dividend stocks did I miss? Which ones do you want to see highlighted in videos? So scroll down and let me know in the comments below this video. So if you look at the dividends per share for each of these companies and that $1,000 monthly goal, you get the number of shares of stock you need to buy in each one. And we see some hugely varying numbers here, right? At that top end, you need almost 20,000 shares of Ford at that $9.30 each to produce that $1,000 a month. That's a solid 6% dividend yield, but just a 60-cent per share annual payout. You'd need over 15,000 shares of the Alerian Fund or 5,800 shares of AT&T stock. On the lower end, though, you'd need only 2,100 shares of 3M at $177 each and a $5.76 per share in annual dividends. But what if we look at it from another perspective? How much do you need to invest in each of these stocks to reach that $1,000 monthly goal? After all, you receive your dividend yield on the amount you invested, so it makes more sense to look at it this way, right? And here we see a completely different story with some of those high yield stocks on the bottom. We need just over $150,000 in the Alerian MLP fund with its 8% dividend yield. Just over 200,000 in shares of AT&T and its 6% yield are enough for that $1,000 income each month. On the other hand, you need 810 grand in Apple or almost $1 million in shares of Disney with their sub 1.5% yields. But the truth is, neither of these perspectives is the right one. Trying to get to that $1,000 income from Apple looks nearly impossible with 810,000 invested. Even in some of those high yield stocks like AT&T, you'd need over 200 grand invested in the stocks. But you can't just look at that dividend yield, and this is something that a lot of dividend investors get wrong. If you're living off those investments, so depending on your stocks for a monthly income, you have to look at the total return in each of these investments. When you do that, that amount you need to invest changes completely, and actually living off your investments becomes a very real possibility. Shares of Disney produced a 12% annual return over the last 5 years. That's on stock price gains and dividends, and at that return, you'd need just 99,800 in the shares, not the million that we saw in that graph to produce that $1,000 a month. Better yet, shares of Apple, remember that 1.5% dividend yield? We needed 810,000 in the stock for that $1,000 dividend. On Apple's 17.5% annual return over the last 5 years, you'd need just 68,500 to generate 12,000 a year in profits. The moral here is that you can't just look at dividends. Learn to look at that total return in shares of stock to see where a company can take you. Reinvest your dividends as long as you can to grow your portfolio, so when you need that monthly income, it's gonna be there to support you. Click on the video to the right here to see how I created a portfolio of dividend stocks that will provide a monthly stream of cash flow. 7 companies that pay dividends and grow their stock price. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.